You're supposed to be an NIC, EIC approved contractor, and the fact that you said to the client that they don't get a certificate unless they pay extra is just ridiculous. You put in a new board. The reason you didn't want to issue a certificate is because you knew that you'd done a terrible job. When you work for yourself, the working week doesn't start on a Monday. In fact, it never stops. Today is Sunday afternoon and I'm beginning my preparations for my week's work ahead, and I'm going to take you through the entire week behind the scenes of what's really involved with working for yourself and running an electrical business. I have such a busy week ahead of me, so I need to make sure that I am as prepared as possible, because it is all in the prep and I'm working all over the country. And the last job that I'm going to, which you'll see at the end of this video, is an absolute shocker, and I feel dead sorry for my customer because I'm going back to redo an EV install that someone else has done. That's absolutely diabolical. Having a clean and tidy van is absolutely essential to me. I literally see this as my day-to-day office. So for me, a tidy van is a clean and tidy mind. I know exactly what I've got on the van and what I haven't. And throughout this video, I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks that may help you run a smooth operation if you're looking at starting up your own electrical business. Because I'm fully aware, when you watch guys like me on Instagram or YouTube and you see like the perfect van and everything's hunky-dory, well, what you don't see is behind the scenes of what goes on in preparation for that, and that's what I want to show you. So I've got my fuel, I've cleaned the van, I've got my materials on board. Tomorrow the first job is in Hook. All of my clients this week are YouTube clients, so I'm all over the place. My batteries are charged, so I'm ready to go. I'll see you in the morning. Morning everyone, it is 6:42 and I've got 57 minutes drive to my first job. I said I'd be there by 8 o'clock, and I'm one of these guys who would rather be an hour early rather than a minute late. So I know I'm going to be early, but it also gives me a little bit of play, because if you hadn't noticed, it's throwing it down, which means the traffic's going to be potentially bad. If the weather's bad, allow a little bit of time to get there on time. It's 8:05, I've got myself all set up. I got here about 5:02, so allowing an extra bit of time was worth it. Traffic was terrible. This should be a relatively simple install, dare I say it, where I've got a consumer unit the other side of the wall. It's fully loaded though, so I'm going to have to put an additional one in below it. And we're going to come out the wall, down, and mount the charger there. So hopefully this shouldn't take me too long. So my first tip for anyone who's getting into EV charging is the number one thing that you need to buy is one of these canopies. It'll absolutely save your life, but you need to be careful because it will collect all the water on top. And I've had this up now for just over an hour, and I'll show you how much water it's collected. So you need to keep on top of that, otherwise it will eventually just collapse. Water weighs a ton. This BG consumer unit did not have any spare weight or any way for the surge protection, and this is the little cupboard where the meter was. For the cable run, I drilled straight out through the wall and I installed my EV Ultra cable with the D-line clips and installed this Space Grey Home Pro Hypervolt. Lovely jubbly. So that's this job. Turned out to be a bit awkward with that little cupboard trying to get meter tails in there, but we've got it done. It is absolutely soaking again today, and I've got so much to do when I get home. All my mats are wrecked, so I need to get them all in the washed and cleaned up. I need to dry all my tools, sort everything out. But the day's not over. I now have 2 site visits to do and get some materials for my job tomorrow, which is in Birmingham. And look how much water there is. All of these jobs that I'm doing this week, I'm going to be making those short videos. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to see exactly how this was done in 60 seconds. Look at the state of these mats. But they are brilliant, so if you do need some good quality mats that are going to protect your customer's floor, try out the Velocity ones. I know I'm an ambassador for Velocity, but I don't have any links or discount codes. Go over to their website and check them out. The weather forecast is showing storms all week, so I'm taking extra precautions, and I'm going to take with me this dry cab. So you might be interested to see that tomorrow if I need it. Last time I used a dry cab, the thing nearly blew away. That's 2 site visits done. The first one is a Tesla install, nice and simple. Supplies in the garage. I've just got to put a separate consumer unit in for that pen fault. And there's 2 options you can use really that I recommend is the Garo unit, which is good. And the last Tesla I've done, I used a WCED board, and that was pretty good too, and a little bit cheaper. But that's a straightforward install, and the second one is way more involved. They've got 2 16-way consumer units that are really old. He wants them upgrading, and then run a new supply to the garage, put a 6-way board in there, install a Zappi. So yeah, a bit more involved in that. It is now 4:30, and I still have a lot to do. Available, if that's any good. So that is my certificate done, my DNO application submitted, building control notified, and I'm just booking in some jobs now. So that's all good. It is now 6 o'clock and I need to edit my short video for the job that I've done today, and that's probably going to take me about an hour, and that'll take me up to 7 o'clock to get that uploaded, and then we'll go from there. This day goes on and on and on. It is now 7:30 and I've finished my video. I'm just uploading it to all the platforms. This is the short, and then I've got that 1 Tesla quote I've got to get done tonight, and then I'm going to go and have dinner. So for all you guys who are, or all you people who think that us guys doing the social media stuff, that we're just having a laugh and a joke and life's easy, well, I won't finish till about 8:30 tonight. So I'm going to crack this out, and I'll see you in the morning. It's just gone 5 o'clock, and I've got about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive to my job. I said I'd be there between 8 and 9, so we'll see how we get on. I've made it, we're on time. I'm determined not to get wet today, so I brought with me the dry cab. This comes out for emergency use only. It comes with a pump, and all you simply do is attach this to this valve here and pump it up. The only trouble with mine is my hose seems to have a crack in it, so we're doing a temporary fix and see if that holds. Then when you got to that stage, put it in place. It comes with an internal support which you need to pump up, and it comes with 4 doors, 1 each side of it. And then this support goes in there. If I open up the front, then I have my walkways through and my charging position, and hopefully I'll keep nice and dry. And it didn't even rain. On a side note, a company called Live sent me out a couple of consumer units. They're their new IP65 ones. Doesn't mean you have to install them outside, but they look quite nice. And this is what they look like. And to be honest, they look pretty solid. It is 11:49, I'm packing up and going home. 3-hour drive. It is now 3:40, I'm all showered up and it's time to get on with admin again. But first things first, most important thing. Best dog in the world. I'm just going through some of the inquiries that I've received today and they're all over the place. So if you are looking for me to do a job for you, I'll travel like a couple of hours, but if it's over that, then we're gonna have to include prices of accommodation as well, because the driving just tires me out too much. Or the other thing I'd like to do is like build up a network of really good installers around the country. So if you would be interested in that, leave a comment below, but your work's got to be pucker. And the inquiries I've received today are like well inside London, and I won't operate inside London, no offence, but it's just too much aggro. And I'm using something called Install Hub at the minute, but I get lots of inquiries and people don't attach photos, which is problematic. And I've had feedback that some people find the Install Hub app quite annoying. So I'm looking for an alternative to this. So if you've got any suggestions on that, again, leave a comment below. That Tesla job I quoted yesterday, won that. And it's imperative, as far as I'm concerned, that if you're going to look at jobs, quote it straight away, because you've got a far better chance of winning it. So I quoted it and within an hour it was accepted. It's booked in, everyone's happy. And the other thing is, if you are looking to get into like EV installs as like your main source of work, you've got to work super hard, because the jobs are only a day long and people forget or don't realise that I need to win a job every single day in order to keep going. So keep on top of your admin. It is now about 6:15. Certification, invoicing sent, all that done for the EV charger today. Done quotes, contacted clients for EV site visits, got that arranged. Edited my short video for the day. I'll put a link in the description below for that. And now all I'm doing is looking for an Airbnb to book for Thursday night, because I'm working too far to drive there and back for Friday. So hopefully I'll be done by about 7 o'clock and then I'm gonna call it a night. I'll see you tomorrow. It's van MOT day. So I've got this booked in, it's 9 o'clock. Hopefully that'll be done in the hour. And I've got some lights to put up in the office while I'm waiting. JCC kindly gave me some LED panels to put in my office. It's super dark in here, sorry. Excuse the mess, also I'm decorating. But what I don't have is in the instructions, it clearly states there, screw the brackets to the rear of the LED panel in the locations indicated by the labels. 0 labels. So rather than muck about, I'm just taking these little brackets that came with it and I'm just banging a few self-tappers in it. And that'll do. This isn't for a client, it's just for me. It's in the office, I just need it to work. So a little bit bodgery maybe, but it's not for anyone else. So don't worry about it. These lights also have the option of the 3, 4 and a 5700K, so that's great. And if I'm doing this completely wrong or I've got it right, let me know. I've not installed these before. The other suspended lights I've fitted in the past have come with a frame and this one hasn't got one. And apparently it doesn't come with one. I've asked the question. That'll do. The next thing I'm going to show you is something called the Telly Tower, which is my mobile scaffold. In my office, I have massive arched ceilings, and I get comments all the time like, oh, just use a 12 set of steps, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't have a 12 tread set of steps, and I'm not going to buy one either because they're just too big. I got this years ago and it's proven to be absolutely brilliant. Rather than balancing stuff on steps, trying to put massive light fittings up, with this, I've got a proper work surface. I'm safe and I'm happy. People say it looks a bit wobbly. Yeah, of course, it's a bit more wobbly than a normal scaffold, but for me, it's fine. I'm not exactly fat or that fat. And it goes up in minutes. Whoever designed this is an engineering genius. And unlike other normal scaffolding, it just folds up and you can chuck it in the back of the van. It doesn't take up a lot of room. So that's dead convenient. It's easy to do on your own. And as long as you make sure all these points are clipped in, then it's good as gold. It's really only rated for one person, which is fine because I work on my own. The platform just folds out. Dust on that. And then what it has, once you've got the platform up, is these supports here, which clip in just like that. A couple of little brackets to secure the platform to the tower, and you're basically there. It's got, what do you call them? Feet that come out that you can, let me show you. It's got these things here you can put out, put down to secure it better, and obviously brakes on the wheels. What I'm using is I've conduited up from the walls where the old lights were, and I'm using these old rock roses, or that's what we used to call them when I was on site anyway. I don't know what you call them now, but we call them click rock roses. And the JCC transformers, so I'll just pop these in here. I've cut my chain. Typically, I needed 8 lengths and I've got enough for 7, so brilliant. And these are nice to use because with these, I believe, you can fold that bit back and it's way easier to pop your cables in there. And then simply put that back up, close that down, Bob's your uncle. I don't care what you say, this is far easier on a telly tower than doing this on a pair of treads. When they're nice and bright, I need some tie wraps to tidy that up. The cable with the chain, they're on the van, can't do that. And I need more chain, so just got to wait to get the van back, and it's just turned up. Van's passed. The tower comes down as easy as it goes up. It does also come with some kickboards or toe boards, but I don't really ever use them. It is now 4 o'clock. I've done 2 site visits. One is a nice and straightforward job. It's a relatively new build and they actually put the supply in the garage, so that's perfect. The second one, again, a nice straightforward job, and I'm going to be using a new charger that's brand new on the market for that one, and I'll make a video on that, so keep an eye out for that. And my next site visit is in an hour and a half. It's not worth me going home and coming back out, so I'm sat in a van, I've got myself a Costa, I've got my laptop, and I'm just going to get on with those quotes and do a bit of editing. And the reason why I haven't stayed in Costa to do this is I'm so paranoid about leaving my van in any car park, because the van break-in thing at the minute is absolutely rife and it's just not worth it. I'd rather sit in the van. I just want to make a point here. It is now 5:20. I've got both of those quotations sent out, and within the hour they've been both accepted. So just think about that. When people ask for a job doing, normally it's because they're serious and they just want to get it done. People don't have any patience these days. I've also had another inquiry from a YouTube customer. I honestly think the modern way to advertise is by using social media and build an online portfolio of your work rather than relying on rip-off advertising schemes such as Checkatrade. I'm like not very happy with Checkatrade at the minute because they charge me like £300 a month, and frankly I think it's a bit of a rip-off. When Facebook free to advertise, Instagram free to advertise, YouTube free to advertise, LinkedIn free to advertise, all these things, why are we paying other platforms to advertise? It makes no sense. It is Thursday and we have a super busy day. I'm installing an 8-metre tethered Omi. I need to get this cracked out today because I have a 4-hour drive ahead of me to the next job, which is tomorrow, and I'm staying over in an Airbnb, and I'll give you a tour. It's a nice little place I've booked. I'm just finishing testing this Omi. Weather's been awful, and that noise you can hear is I've got a slow puncher, so I'm trying to pump it up. I'm going to crack on and get this done because the weather's coming in again. Just quickly, things I don't like about the Omi. You have to install one of these junction boxes because it comes pre-flexed, which means you can't check any of the internal wiring. I don't like that. And if you're going to do it, make sure you always put your glands underneath, because the weather in this country is getting worse and worse. So minimalise any sort of water ingress you possibly can. The roads are absolutely treacherous. You know when like the water is in the middle of the road and it's spraying up, and I know that it's blinding people if they're driving that side of me, and if anyone passes me I'm getting blinded. I'm kind of asking myself, is this worth it? Am I trying to do too much? Driving in these conditions is horrendous. Just stopped at the services. I'm about an hour and a half away now, and I bought myself dinner. And I bought myself a coffee to keep me going. Well, actually, I didn't buy this. You know, I'm doing that whole buy me a coffee thing. You've probably learned this week that I do an awful lot of traveling and I'm working long days, and I do that buy me a coffee thing. And someone called Claus bought me a coffee, and his message was, "Hello from another electrician apprentice from Denmark. I find your videos really inspiring and I love how honest you are." Well, Claus, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you buying this coffee. Thank you. If you want to join in on this buy me a coffee thing, there'll be a link in the description below. I really do appreciate all of you. Hello and welcome to my Airbnb. Let me give you the tour. The kitchen, the weird haunted kind of archway. The living quarters and the boudoir. Excuse the mess. So the reason I always book an Airbnb when I stay away is I simply don't trust hotel car parks. I've had my van broken into before, so I insist on finding an Airbnb with secure parking. The weather will not let up at the minute, and I'm extremely concerned about my job tomorrow, but we're just gonna have to see how it goes. It's 7:30, I've just finished my edit for my short video. I've got my invoicing to do for my job today yet, so I'm gonna relax, have something to eat, have a Coke, and I'll see you in the morning. It's Friday, the end of the week. I'm at my last job, and what someone has done here is absolutely abysmal. Look at this. 16mm tails just lashed in. This is the apparent new bonding. And check out this cable run. Look at this. I've not even undone any screws. So where the consumer unit was installed previously, the electrician didn't install any blanks, which I've now done. You could just access the live buzz bars, which is crazy. Same at the bottom. There isn't actually a buzz bar in the bottom now, so that doesn't matter too much. Meter tails are used with 16mm. It was like a 10-meter run. Why would you do that? It's a brand new installation, and he used a ropey old RCD main switch in here, which was obviously original. So I've binned that off. Now we've got a proper tails isolator, new tails, tails gland. In here, I've installed the correct RCD for an EV charger, and I've bonded the gas and I've bonded the water. All of these things which should have been done on a new installation by an electrician. And the other thing which is concerning is this guy's going around carrying out work and he's not certificating it, because apparently that costs extra also. I've ran a new EV Ultra cable all the way around to the EV charging point where I installed a Hypervolt. I'm not going to show you that because I don't want to reveal where I am, because I know some of you eagle-eyed people will find out. But that is me done, all tested. It's 2 o'clock and I've got about a 3.5–4 hour drive home now. I didn't record this as I went just because I had too much to do and I just needed to bang it out. But that's it, job done, happy customer. I have 2 tips for you. I've just stopped at Another Services to pick myself up another coffee. I've got about another hour and a bit to go, and it's just coming up 5 o'clock now. My app for buying me a coffee won't load, so I'll edit in this who bought me this, but thank you so much. I do appreciate it. You're a legend. And I have a tip. If your customer is kind enough to give you cake and you decide to work through and eat it on your way home, well, if you have one of these Velocity van bags, if you haven't got it hooked on, it falls down. So my Victoria sponge has turned into a Victoria sponge sandwich, which I'm gonna enjoy now. Thank you to my customers on my last job. You were brilliant and I really appreciate this. Thank you. I'm going home. So I kind of brushed over the whole EV charger thing there. They did have a new pod point installed there by this other guy, but they have more than one property, and they've decided that they wanted the Hypervolt at this one and the pod point I'm going to reinstall at their other property. So that's why that's getting swapped over. That was their choice. Problems with the EV install though: 1, it was never commissioned. 2, the cable entry, it was back entry, no stuffing gland, not even a grommet. These people who are just chucking in these EV chargers for cheap, they don't know what they're doing. I just don't get it. Just do a good job. You're supposed to be an NIC, EIC approved contractor, and the fact that you said to the client that they don't get a certificate unless they pay extra is just ridiculous. You put in a new board, you put in 4 socket circuits. The reason you didn't want to issue a certificate is because you knew that you'd done a terrible job. And frankly, I just feel sorry for my clients that they've had to pay again to get me to come and do it. If you're gonna get an electrician in to do any sort of work for you, do some background checks. Social media is a brilliant one to check out, because if they've got like a portfolio, a visual portfolio of their work, that's really gonna help, because you can see what you're gonna get. And you'll also be able to see what's right and wrong if you read comments by other electricians. And who puts in like a 10-meter run of 16mm tails to a new board and just chases it into a wall in no zones whatsoever? That house is getting completely rewired, not by me, and hopefully not by the other electrician, which is why you saw just a couple of sockets underneath. It's just temporary. Half hour to go. Where those meter tails went up in that stairway, what would have happened if they wanted a handrail put there and the chippies just banging screws in left, right and centre? They could easily go through those meter tails. And you can say, oh, but Adam, they're on an RCD. Right, couple of issues with that. One, that RCD is probably like from the 90s. Two, it's an AC RCD, which you can't have in line with a Type A for an EV charger for a start. And just because it's on an RCD doesn't mean you can just start banging cables in wherever you want. And let's say someone did go through it, now the customer's lost power completely and you've got to repair it. What are you going to do? Hack out the wall and do a 16mm cable joint and bury that? It's ridiculous. If you're installing meter tails, don't do that.